Welcome to the first edition of the LochTalk Podcast. I'm Connor.
I'm Jacob.
And I'm Isaac.
One of the most well-known and ancient monsters of international legend is the Loch Ness Monster, an aquatic serpentine creature which resides in the depths of the Loch Ness in Inverness, Scotland. The first sighting of the monster was in August of 565 AD by Irish monk St. Columba. He wrote about the encounter in his personal journal, elaborating small details to the point where it resembles an ancient epic poem, such as Gilgamesh or Beowulf. Since this first encounter, many people have stood many long days and cold nights waiting for the chance to be one of the lucky few to see the majestic creature of the loch. The modern myth started to spread in 1933 when Aldi and John Mackay, a young Scottish couple, saw a large figure in the water while driving along the coast of the Ness. All across the country, people began to claim sightings and stories of encounters with the legendary beast of the lake. Word spread quickly, and stories of close encounters surfaced, each more exciting than the last. George Spicer and his wife claimed to witness the most extraordinary form of animal cross the road in front of their car. This 4-foot-tall, 25-foot-long creature lurched across the road only 60 feet from their car. These stories multiplied so rapidly due to the addition of this road along the loch, added earlier that year, bringing workers and tourists to the formerly isolated area. In turn, the increasing number of stories brought with it fame and international popularity. It gained the nickname Nessie and became ingrained in the culture of our world. The first known picture of the head and neck of Nessie is known as the surgeon's photograph, reportedly taken by Robert Kenneth Wilson, a London surgeon. It is unclear whether the image was his work due to his refusal to have his name associated with the picture, which is how it came to be known as the surgeon's photograph. Largely considered a hoax, it is yet to be definitively disproved and is still one of the more popular pieces of evidence, although not all that convincing. Since its discovery, there have been many theories over what Nessie could be, because it was easier to say that a large fish lived there than admit that an unknown creature swam in the waters for 2 centuries without being noticed.
There are a few animals that naturally reside in the loch that could explain the sightings. A Greenland shark could theoretically survive in fresh water, and the loch has abundant salmon populations for the shark to subsist on. These sharks are dark in color with small dorsal fins and can grow up to 20 feet, allowing one to easily be mistaken for some kind of sea monster. Wells catfish are another possible explanation for Nessie. They are well above the average size of catfish species, and may have been introduced to the loch in the 19th century. Swimming birds, otters, and deer could be seen as Nessie from a distance as well, and are found naturally in large numbers around the loch. One of the more funny possibilities of the true nature of Nessie is an elephant. As the theory goes, the famous Nessie picture is the back and extended trunk of a bathing elephant from either a traveling circus or at another location that was later falsely claimed to be Loch Ness. Irish Celts are famous for their storytelling, due to the countless legends and fables about their saints. Many stories have to do with water because much of their culture was oriented around the sea.
The earliest record we have of the monster of Loch Ness was written by St. Columba, an Irish Catholic missionary, priest, and monk. He had traveled to Scotland to proselytize the non-Christian clans of Highlands. He came upon a Scottish farmer who was savagely attacked and consumed by the monster. Although Columba was unable to save the farmer, he did succeed, according to his own account, in forcing the beast back into the waters of the loch. I personally had an experience with Nessie around 4 years ago in October of 2014. The weather was cool and the rain was continuously falling for the 5th consecutive day since we had been in Scotland. My family and I were visiting Urquhart Castle, an ancient castle in ruins that resides majestically overlooking Loch Ness. I was standing on one of the low walls looking out over the loch when my first cousin, twice removed, or my grandfather's cousin, Alexander McBain, a native of Scotland, snuck up behind me and whispered in my ear, practically frightening me to death, "You better watch out, me boy, Nessie's going to get you." He walked away back toward the castle, laughing noisily, and in that moment I saw a huge dark shape that appeared to be only inches below the surface of the water. It was moving far too quickly to be a shadow, and I only saw it for a couple of seconds. I called my family over, and we continued to look around for another half hour, but eventually we gave up.
Many fantastical beast stories have turned out to be real creatures that we now consider commonplace. The giant squid used to be a sailor's tale of a vicious kraken. The 10-foot lizards that were thought to have attacked several anglers while at sea are now known as Komodo dragons. Is it possible that Nessie will one day be another example of this? Who knows? Thanks for listening to the first edition of the LochTalk. You can find us on Twitter at LochTalk.